Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to COD Zombies HQ. This is the very first episode of Call of Duty WW2 Myth Busting. It's going to be a headquarters special where we take in and test a bunch of myths that you guys send in over on Twitter or down in the comments and test them out in-game to see if they can either be confirmed or busted. As I said just a second ago, this episode is going to be a headquarters special, so most of the myths are going to be based around the headquarters, but feel free to suggest myths for all of Call of Duty WW2 for future episodes. So let's kick things off with our most requested myth. I hope this is one of the things where in the future people are going to be like, well, why is he including that? But if you're watching it when this video was posted, you'll understand. And that is, can you actually get into a public headquarters lobby in Call of Duty WW2 right now? Well, as you guys can see, that myth is obviously confirmed, but for a very small number of you guys. Taking a look at the near 900 comments you guys posted on the empty headquarters update video, it seems like there's only 3 places in the world right now where headquarters is truly public, and that is here in Canada, the state of Massachusetts, and the state of Florida. So hopefully they launch public HQ very soon. If you're watching this in the future, God, I hope they fixed it by then. For our first myth of the day, if you ever noticed, pretty far out over on the headquarters map, we see floating above the beach are these barrage balloons. If you don't know what these were actually used for, they're basically big obstacles that float up in the air with heavy cables meant to prevent enemy aircraft from diving down pretty low and strafing the beach side. Well, seeing as these balloons should just be filled up with air, myth: can you destroy the barrage balloons inside the headquarters map? To get a good shot with the bazooka, I had to travel pretty far outside the map. This is just a few meters from the boundary where the map actually ends. You just fall right down through it. Well, lining up the first shot here and firing, you can see that we actually have a direct hit on the balloon. There's actually a big black mark where it hit. I'm going to fire another one just to make sure that it doesn't have like a certain amount of damage that needs to be done to it before it breaks or something like that. Unfortunately not. You can see where those 2 rockets impacted. Nothing happened to the balloon itself besides those 2 visual markers. So this myth is officially busted. For our next myth, here in the headquarters using the spectator cam, we can actually spawn in really high above the map, and using the energetic basic training, we can fall a crazy distance and survive. For this myth, let's see if we can fall from a crazy high height and survive without using the energetic basic training here on the headquarters. The result of this one was really interesting, but it definitely took a long time to get, as you can see by the repeated falls from height over and over again. He just kept hitting the wrong spot and just instantly dying once you hit the ground. This happened over and over and over again, and I was beginning to lose hope that this myth would be busted. But then came this run here, where as you can see, you fall from a crazy high height. If you hit the right spot, you just bounce right off the ground. It shot me towards the beach, and somehow I managed to stay alive. It seems like the trick here is to hit sloped ground at a very specific angle and speed that'll actually mess with the physics of the game and cause you to just kind of bounce off the ground instead of going splat right to your death. So I'm excited we can say that this myth is confirmed. Let's move on to our next myth by the Lucario Project on Twitter, who essentially said, can you get a V2 rocket here in the headquarters map? So here we are in the headquarters about to test this with a bunch of AI which have their pathing screwed up because they're here on the headquarters and they're not supposed to be, and that kind of thing. So we're able to actually get these kills really quickly and judge how many we get pretty quickly. As you guys can see, the spawning mechanics in this mode are really weird, where the AI will actually spawn on the exact spot where you killed them from. So that's why the AI spawns keep moving around slightly. They just seem to be confused, so they're standing there. But as we approach our 25 kills, we get it. And you can see, unfortunately, there is no V2 rocket kill streak here. It seems like it's this way because this can only be done in a custom game, and as far as I know, you can't get a V2 rocket in a custom game. There is no progression there, so you can't prestige your divisions to have that V2 unlocked. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to bust this myth. Moving on to our next myth sent in by Austin over on Twitter. He asked, in headquarters, can you grab the gridiron balls in first person mode? As I'm sure you guys are aware, there's 3 spawns for hidden gridiron balls in the regular HQ. One is on top of the middle bunker, one is on the ledge sitting by the big naval gun at spawn, and the last is actually sitting inside at the very top of the Scorstreak's tower on the regular headquarters. While hopping into the grounds here in first person mode, first we're going to visit the one by the big naval gun, and as you can see, we're looking around for it. It's not here. So next we're going to take a kind of unusual path towards the second one, which is going to be on top of the main bunker as we skirt around here and head inside. As we can see, unfortunately there's no gridiron ball here either, but we do still have the famous Kilroy is here meme plastered inside this hidden area. And lastly, in the custom game version of Headquarters, most of the Scorstreak's tower has no collisions, so we can't hop up there using the regular means, but we can use the spectator cam to kind of back up to the Scorstreak's tower, spawn in, get inside there, and as you can see, unfortunately even here in first person there is no gridiron ball, so this myth has to be busted. Moving on to our next myth by Lil SOG over on Twitter, he asks, can you call in supply drops outside of the map? For this one, I'm going to modify it slightly from supply drop to care package, where we're here pretty far outside the map. This is right at the edge of the border where the ground has collision and the ground does not. So the first one I'm going to throw here just goes right outside the bounds, goes sinking down under the map and waiting for the plane. It doesn't seem like it can arrive. The second one I'm going to throw here just lands barely in bounds. As you can see, it seems like at the point where the smoke actually starts coming out of the marker is the point you know that the airdrop is going to be called in. As you can see, here comes the plane. The supply drops fall down and are able to be picked up even this far outside the map. So I decided to take this to another level. I went all the way down to the big box that's some people are calling, you know, the prototype Zombies headquarters. Some are just calling it a blank spawn area where your character is technically teleported to when you just see the black screen in headquarters, and then when it finishes loading the map you actually spawn into the headquarters. So now we're down here standing on top of this huge box. We have our care package Scorstreaks ready to rock. I went ahead and threw our first one down. We have smoke coming out of the marker. Looking above us, especially at the mini-map, we can see the plane flying overhead. It drops the care package successfully right where we put that marker, but because the ground above us has collision, the care packages don't make it down to our level. They stop at the ground level of the regular map. So while the care packages don't make it to our level, we can still actually call them in. This shows that we can call in care packages outside and under the map. This myth is confirmed. Moving on to our next myth, can you destroy the planes that are flying above the headquarters when using our bazooka here in first person mode? Well, to try this I did a few methods. The first one is the most simple one, you know, trying to aim up at these planes with the bazooka and trying to hit them, hoping that the rocket will connect at the perfect moment and we'll see an explosion and hopefully one of the planes being destroyed. I tried that for a little while, wasn't having any success, so I tried what I thought would be the second more effective method, which is using the spectator cam to fly up to the actual plane's levels, waiting for them to approach the spectator cam, spawn in because you spawn right where your spectator is located, try to switch to the bazooka quickly and shoot at those planes with the bazooka at point blank range. I tried this a whole bunch of times. I tried to get as close as possible in a few of these clips to make sure, you know, that bazooka would have hit it 100%. I tried it over and over again, dying each time, and unfortunately from those tries there was no success at blowing up these planes. Therefore we're gonna have to bust this myth. As an addendum to that myth, I decided to try this one. Can you ride on top of the planes that are flying on the headquarters? So to try this, we're using a similar method, but instead of trying to shoot at the planes, we're actually just trying to land on top of them. As you can see, I tried it a bunch of times, missing by just a meter or two a few times, but after a bunch of tries, I finally hit it. And as you can see, you actually just clip right through the plane. I'll slow it down here in slow motion. Just clipped right through near the back of the plane. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's any kind of collision associated with these planes, even though they are so detailed. So as a result, we're going to have to bust this myth. For our next myth, sent in by Drift to Providence over on YouTube, he asked, can you bust this myth? Throwing a gridiron ball inside of the 1v1 pit, will it make the players inside pick it up? So I tried this a whole bunch of times. I found that where you actually had to aim your camera here in first person mode to get the gridiron ball to go exactly where you wanted is pretty difficult. Firstly, I figured that it's probably unlikely that they'll be able to pick up the gridiron ball in first person mode because you can't do it in the shooting range, but there is a moment at the end of the game where you leave first person mode, you drop your weapons, you have no weapons, and you stand and do an emote just like you are in the regular headquarters. So I figured that's the moment where it's most likely that they'll be able to pick up the gridiron ball inside of the 1v1 pit. So after trying this a whole bunch of times, this one getting really close, just rolls by his feet. This one seems like the closest throw. I feel like in the regular headquarters, his character would have picked up that gridiron ball while he's in the 1v1 pit. Unfortunately, he doesn't. So it seems like we're gonna have to bust this myth. For our next myth, sent in by Ace Ray Z over on Twitter, he asked, is it possible to throw a grenade in the furthest tire in the shooting range? As you guys know, over in the regular shooting range, there are a bunch of tires. Most of them are pretty close to where you can actually throw from, but there's one in the very far back of the shooting range where there sits a tire just like the rest of them. There's no point in using any other division for this besides the Expeditionary, as it has that extra throw equipment faster, farther, and while sprinting perk that we can possibly hit that far tire. I tried it a whole bunch of times, getting up really close here in the firing range, trying to sprint and throw it. Sometimes I'd even hop over the barrier here. I tried heading just outside of the firing range, sprinting towards it, and throwing my grenade in the air to try to hit it. I tried this a whole bunch of times in a lobby with other people too. They couldn't hit it, but it does seem that if you use the Expeditionary, you sprint and throw your grenade at the exact timing and the exact proper angle, it is possible to get it in that back tire. I haven't done it yet. I haven't seen anybody else do it yet. But because I'm pretty sure you can get that distance to that tire, you can throw it that distance, I'm gonna have to give this one a plausible. If you guys can manage to actually get it into that far tire, definitely let me know. That would be awesome to see. And for our last myth, Tyler Holly asks, myth, can you get on top of the truck by the 1v1 area where you can prestige your guns? So this is over here by the weaponsmith. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is just hop on the hood of the truck. Then you can hop right on top of the weaponsmith. It's a cool little spot. People usually don't expect you to be up there, although it is pretty easy to get up there. Therefore, this myth is confirmed. Well, that wraps up the first episode of Call of Duty World War II myth busting here for a headquarters special. If you guys have myths you want me to test in further episodes, definitely let me know down in the comments, or like a lot of people did in this video, over on Twitter. The link is in the description. Definitely drop me a follow over there. If you did enjoy this video, as always, I appreciate a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I want to thank everybody that sent in their myths for this episode, and I'll see you with another Call of Duty World War II video tomorrow. Peace out.